Hey everyone, you've got Alex and Claire here. We're part of Pacvue's strategic consulting team, and this video is part of our series on approaching e-com strategies. So excited to connect with everybody today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So we're going to talk about how to group your campaigns into product types and kind of how to allocate budget. It's super important to set yourself up for success from the beginning and kind of take a look at your product set and the categories that they fall into, and categorize your campaigns appropriately so that you see strong performance. And we do see typically the more granular approach you take, the more efficient your campaigns are going to be, and you have more control over the levers. And not only that, it's going to align really well to the back end taxonomy of the retailers. So your relevancy is going to be very one-to-one. That's just going to boost your performance even more. But Alex is going to talk about some of the considerations to take when you're looking at your product set and how to kind of break those out.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. And we'll talk also not only like the retailer piece, but as you think about your overall portfolio, right? So, innovation, so new items versus core, what does that look like as you're setting up from a campaign structure perspective, specifically within, leveraging these attributes or grouping your products together? You want to make sure that you're doing that across your core portfolio, so your existing assortment. And we've got a couple of examples here on how you can group your overall products into specific categories. So leveraging, specific features, use cases, priority within your overall portfolio, seasonal SKUs, so things that come in and out of distribution based on, the time of year. Any specific initiatives, which for us, we really define that as more of innovation. So any new item launches. And then also product audiences. So as you think about kind of setting up campaign structures for your existing portfolio, you'll want to group by specific attributes and consider some of these different dimensions to cluster your overall assortment from a category campaign perspective.
Yeah, and I think taking into consideration kind of the next level of like, what are your initiatives and your goals for the year? So if you have certain products that are a major priority and you want to make sure that X% of the budget goes to those products, then you should probably break that out into its own campaign so that you can pull its levers separately and ensure that, it has that certain amount of budget and is driving X amount of sales. And just kind of overall taking a look at your categories. Are there certain categories where you want your brand to win? You want to own the share in the space. You want to own the share of sales in the space. You'll want to kind of note that and break those categories out differently than some of the categories where you just want to play. You want to be there, you want to have sponsored support, but efficiency is the play there. You want to make sure you're as highly efficient as possible. And the new products is always a good one to look at too. So new products are fresh. They don't have the historical traffic and sales to the SKU, so you want to build that up. So you'll typically want to break those out into its own campaign. We'd see better performance that way because if it's lumped in with the historical SKUs, then the campaigns will automatically want to serve the historical SKUs over the new SKU that doesn't have as much historical tenure at that point. So breaking that out and ensuring you have enough budget to boost that to the top and start to increase that organic ranking by getting more traffic and more sales to that SKU will definitely help over time. And I know Alex, you've had some good experience with new products, so you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you made in terms of thinking through new products and how to isolate them out. I think the point to drive is from an allocation perspective, how much to allocate to new products and why to allocate to new products. And, the one thing that we would say, or the few things we would say against that is think through some of the priorities for these new products, right? Like what do they serve from a strategic standpoint? So I'll give you a few examples. First, is this a product that's part of a retailer specific strategy, right? So it's going to launch initially at one retailer and the hopes are that you'll get distribution at other retailers or even nationally. If so, to Claire's point, having it isolated out in a separate campaign as part of a separate structure allows you to look at performance, allows you to allocate dollars accordingly, and then also allows you to refine and optimize in that sense. And so you can have a successful launch from the beginning and then, increase your chances of getting that distribution elsewhere. The other piece on that is as you think about new products, to Claire's point, Having some of those relevancy hurdles across certain platforms, you want to make sure that you're allocating specifically against those new products to support them from a search perspective, to help them gain overall organic relevancy and then win over time across the platform. And so then in time, as that new product or that new initiative becomes part of your core portfolio, it would have built that relevancy on the platform, and then it can get restructured again within your overall campaigns. So those are a couple of important things to think about as you think about new products. And then lastly, not just new products, but total portfolio. And this one's around allocation. Think of allocation as part of the total ecosystem, right? So you allocate dollars based on other activities outside of search. So for example, if you happen to have distribution at a retailer that has an omni presence, meaning they have retail media, they have a .com, but they also have in-store activities, and you happen to have some sort of in-store display, guess what? It's probably a really great idea to allocate some dollars, some additional dollars to those products that are part of that in-store display and put some more search dollars there to help boost the overall presence, not only online, but then within the whole ecosystem. And so that's kind of some of the dimensions that we should always encourage folks to think through in terms of allocation and how to leverage not only new products, but existing core portfolio.
Yes, love it. You don't want them to see it on display or in-store on a display and then not be able to find it when they search for it online. So I think that's definitely key. And we know this can get super granular. Obviously, both of us having worked in it, know you end up with a lot of campaigns because no one just has 3 categories like this slide. Each brand typically has 10, sometimes 15, and sometimes you have multiple brands under an umbrella. So what a lot of what we use is leveraging Pacvue's kind of tagging features. So knowing that you're going to have a brand, a category, and a competitor campaign for every category adds up really fast. So if you tag them at the category level, then we can filter as we're looking to report out or to optimize and optimize at the tag level, the category level, rather than, granular at each campaign or ad group or product level, which has helped a lot. So that's kind of how we handle that situation. You definitely set yourself up for success when you take a granular approach and really break things out, take a look at your product set in advance and what your calendar for the year looks like. I think that's all we have from a campaign structure perspective. To follow along for the rest of the e-com strategy series, follow the Pacvue channel on YouTube. For more tips and tricks, visit pacvue.com/blogs. A lot of good stuff there. You can find articles about setting up on any platform practically. And finally, to learn how Pacvue's approach to strategic consulting can help your business, get in touch with us today.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.